All right, welcome everyone to a deist reality. Today I want to talk about this so-called debate between Billy Carson and Wesley Huff and how I think it all went down. I've been studying it for a while. I don't know why I feel a need to come out of my, I haven't done a video in a long time, but I feel a need to come out because I think that pure deists, true deists are being attacked. People who understand the proper path of understanding the infinite, that the billions of us rightly honor with the sacred title of God. I think we're being attacked on many different levels by a certain religion here in America, a certain understanding of Christianity. Most of them are these Trinitarian, original sinning, believing Christians who feel the need to impose their interpretation of ancient linguistics on us like some kind of a truth. It's hard to understand if they do it for money or if they're doing it for, to really save our souls. They so deeply believe that if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, as they understand these ancient languages, you will go to a very bad place. And they want to save you from that. They want to help you make it to the next realm. And they're fanatical about it, right? On many levels, they're fanatical. They believe it so wholeheartedly. Many of them, I believe, are sincere enough. They really believe this, and they were raised in this. And Wesley Huff is just another example of somebody who was raised in a faith that that propagates this notion that our Creator would even need to overshadow a young virgin woman engaged to be married to save us from the sins of the world, and all this fabulous, nonsensical verbiage that Wesley uses. I can't believe. I listen to these people talk. He's amazing when he talks. With all his knowledge on biblical text, Latin, Greek, how it's been translated, goes and travels over there. And it's not just him. I'm on Clubhouse as well, and I go to these rooms. I go to the Hebrew Israelite rooms, whether black or white. I go into these rooms and these Christians' rooms. One word they talk about all day long. They talk about, oh, this means that, this means this, which none of us at this great distance in time can have a clue about. And I know I'm getting off the subject here, but talking about Billy Carson, who I met through this debacle that was set up. He was definitely set up. This guy, Anton, the antagonist, supposedly this spiritual guru who is the only one who all these spiritual people go to him to get online and he makes all these spiritual people famous. And he's not even, he's 30, I think he's just turned 30 or something like that. He's dying. This guy Anton is just dying to get millions of subscribers like Billy has, right? And so the so-called debate, Billy Carson, this is my understanding of it all. He comes back from traveling. He's kind of sick. His friend Mark Lamard, right? Mark Lamard. So Billy, they all had it pre-planned that they were going to do a conversation and talk about each of their spirituality. Mark and Billy are good friends. Mark was at his wedding, for crying out loud. And this guy, Mark the Meek, I call him. So we got Anton the antagonist, Mark the Meek, and Wesley, the know-it-all, biblical know-it-all, right? Knows everything. He's impressed Joe Rogan and a couple other podcasters, how amazing he is with his biblical verbiage baggage that means nothing in the big scheme of the reality of God and what this force is. There's only one path of understanding it, right? That no rational mind could possibly disapprove of, right? The true word of God is the creation we behold. That's where you go to find about God, right? Life, nature, the universe, the very words that go synonymously with this honorary title we rightly call God, right? So Billy gets invited to this thing the day before. He says, oh, we got this guy Wes who's going to be a part of the conversation. He trusts Mark, his good friend. He trusts him that he's going to not throw him under the bus like he did. Billy had no clue the credentials, this Wes, not just the credentials, the planned purpose. Wesley Huff couldn't wait to debate Billy Carson. And of course, Billy Carson doesn't want to debate these Trinitarian, original sinning Christians who warp ancient linguistics to fit their needs of, again, hell and, where you could go after this very real life is over and stuff like this. They make money at it. Wes Huff makes money at it. He's a part of Christian apologetics in Canada, right? No, Canada apologetics. It's got apologetics is interesting, right? These guys spend so much time and energy. Nobody even understands when you're talking to a guy like Wesley. He's already been in so many debates. They talk back and forth about how we can convince people to believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, this one individual in time. And people like spiritual people in general, like myself, like Thomas Paine is a great freaking example of a person who had great respect for Jesus and the Christ consciousness, right? Thomas Paine didn't call Christ consciousness back in the day. He called it the consciousness of existence. Thomas Paine believed, this real quick off the side, Thomas Paine believed that we come from something that must be intelligent in nature. Thomas Paine called this force his friend. He believed that God played a conscious, active role in his life, which is contrary to what, if you go to deism and the definition that Noah Webster gives us all, and the Catholic Church and secular people love to use it as well, the deist that believes in the God that went away, that's simply not true. Go to Noah Webster's definition, and right in the definition, you can see how much Noah Webster hated the deists of the day, that it was a growing, not only a philosophy, a religion. And when we're talking about religion, we're talking about people binding together under a certain concept of whatever it is that started it all, that we all call God. Dealing with a force that's supernatural in nature, at least in our evolutionary growth of understanding. We either come from nothing at all, or we come from something that's infinite in nature, always was, always will be. And out of those two options, one makes more sense than the other, in my opinion. All right? So, infinite nature. God was always. There's no creator of the God. When we're talking about God, G-O-D, you atheists and agnostics, think of it as an acronym. Grow or die. It's a great word, first of all, in my opinion, especially if we want to eliminate these nasty, dangerous Abrahamic faiths that have been so detrimental on so many levels to the human condition. Some say, oh, they've done this, they've done that. And in that debate, if it was really a debate, the conversation, Wes said some outrageous claims that if Billy had known it was a debate, he would have easily put Wesley in his place when he talked about the abolition movement being mostly Christian, or women. Wherever Christianity went, women's rights were better off, Wesley was saying. Oh my God. He was set up from his friend Mark, and Anton, the antagonist, worked with Mark. He worked with Mark behind Billy's back. He worked with Wesley behind Billy's back. All three of those guys worked against Billy. Obviously, because look at that video again, and you see that Wesley and Anton had questions for Billy. Did Mark ask Billy for questions prior? Like, did Billy have a chance to do that? He didn't. That's why we know it was set up. All right, this poor guy Billy, who trusted Mark, trusted Anton too. Anton worked for him as well, but Anton is this little manipulative. Go Google Anton. Whatever his last name, I'll put it in the thing here, Ski or whatever the heck it is. He is a individual that can't be trusted, and good luck, you Christians who have him on your side now, because the spiritual people should be grateful that this guy is out of the equation for them, because his whole goal from what he's trying to, unless he's trying to get more following going to the Christian side, the Trinitarian original sinning Christian side, because these people, I call them so-called Christians because really they're not Christians to me. I don't call myself a Christian, but I feel that I'm more of a Christian than them. As you can see by my videos, I don't just believe in a person who who's the Son of God and receives revelations. I am the Christ prophet. So are you. I totally believe this. I go through life going like this. And people who look at this video say, what? Especially religious Trinitarian original sinning Christians will say, what are you talking about, Mark? You're saying you're the Christ prophet? You're the Christ? Yes. God anointed me, you, and all other life forms with this sacred gift called life. We were anointed at conception. We beat the astronomical Powerball odds of being here. That's an amazing thing. I think of that every day, how grateful I am. And the fact that I'm still here at this great distance in time as I get older, I'm just so blessed. And I'm grateful to this force that allowed me to beat these odds. Think of it. I think of myself in the technology I'm using to video this message right here, this thought. I keep going off track. This thought about Billy and Wes. How I got here blows my mind every day. And so I'm here. This is very real. It's a very real moment. How did I get here? The Christ. God anointed me with this sacred gift called life. I feel that way. I know this is Jesus's message. This is Billy Carson, I think. I don't know him that well, but I would say that a lot of us agree with this. Spiritual people would agree with this. But it's in your face. When I say I am the Christ prophet, so are you. That is right in your face. What is Mark talking about? You sound like a lunatic, right? What is a prophet? I am the Christ prophet. A prophet is somebody who loves God, this force, with all their heart, mind, and soul. Okay? A prophet is somebody who receives revelations from this force. And I contend to the conscious mind that these revelations, these surprising truths that come to us, happen all the time, 24/7. And you get them by studying nature, life. The physical evidence, again, that proves that God is real is where you learn about this force. And that's not to say these sacred books, the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, any book, all books. People write books because they're inspired by their life experiences, their understanding of nature, and they're so passionate about it, they write it down. And if these writings click true to us, we can use them as tools to understand this force. And I know I'm getting off the subject on a lot of stuff here, but this whole debacle, and how it was played out is very similar to how they treated Thomas Paine after he wrote The Age of Reason. You know, Thomas Paine was this amazing founding father for democracy in America, right? Writing Common Sense, the Crisis Papers, Rights of Man, and of course his last work at the end of his life, The Age of Reason, which after he wrote that, nobody liked him anymore. In fact, nobody even knows about Thomas Paine and his work he did for true freedom. You know, he writes in The Age of Reason that soon after he had published the pamphlet Common Sense in America, he saw the exceeding probability that a revolution in the system of government would be followed by a revolution in the system of religion, freeing mankind on so many levels. But of course, that revelation in the form of religion never took place. Why? Because of stupid definitions like Noah Webster. When he talks about the God that went away, no spiritual people wants to read what a deist or deism means and believe in a God that went away, because we spiritual people believe that God plays a conscious, active role in our lives. We believe that it's possible that there's no intelligence behind the collective whole, or there is intelligence behind the collective whole. And to the rational mind, if you contemplate that thought, the answer for me anyway, which is a personal truth that I'm forced to call a faith because I can't prove it, I say that there is intelligence behind the collective whole, obviously. And this intelligence certainly plays a conscious active role in my life. And it doesn't matter if you Christians don't agree with me or not. I live this for my own truth. Anyway, it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. All over the place, aren't I? I'll be doing more videos. I have another YouTube channel that I haven't, after being a self-professed deist for many years, Thomas Paine changed my life. As you can see by my videos, I haven't done a video here at Deist Reality for a long time. I've gone to a whole nother site. I wanted to put my spirituality into physical form to try to make this physical world a heaven on earth, to try to get it there. I too love like Billy, like Aaron, and a lot of spiritual people I met because of this silly so-called debate that Wes Huff should at least thank Billy for all the fame he's gotten. He should at least thank him. But he doesn't. He throws him under the bus. Subliminally, he throws Billy under the bus in everything he says. All of them do. Mark, too. Mark, Anton, you guys should be ashamed of yourself, what you did to Billy Carson. And I hope he does sue you. I hope he follows through and gets cash back, because he deserves. You know, he hasn't done a debate, especially with you Trinitarian Christians, because you guys warp ancient linguistics. You do. It's provable. All the stuff you try to prove that goes against the laws of nature and nature's God, Christian, Muslims, and Jews, you always use nature, life, the universe, as your proof for God, which is rightly so. That's how you get the atheists, the agnostics to jump on board with just to get you into the door to your churches or synagogues and stuff like that. Like your way is the only way. Okay? There's many paths to this creator of all. But I'm here to tell you, like going from the East Coast to the West Coast, there's one proper path where man can't possibly be deceived, and that is deism, the Latin word for God, a word that means God, right? But it's the study of God. How awesome is that? To have a word that means God, but is the study of God, and that is deism, and that's all it's about. Thomas Paine's definition should be the definition we use, as he's written so much on the subject. So much on the subject, but of course, you don't want to use Thomas Paine's definition because that frees the mind. It frees the mind to think for itself on this force. And what do you Christians really want in life? Don't you want people to believe that there is a force that plays a conscious role in their lives? Isn't that the ultimate goal you want them to do? Yet you have them go through steps, unnecessary steps, like totally. You know, I come from a Christian background too, raised Catholic, right? Gone through all the damn stuff, Catholic schools, all the sacraments, up to marriage, up to baptism of my own children. Imagine that. So I found out about deism late in life, but my children found out early in life about the reality of God and the reality of deism. I watch Wesley, Huff, Anton, the antagonist, Mark, not so much these days, but when I was following you, Mark, you nasty friend. Can't believe
At 2:29 a.m., my teenage daughter wakes me up terrified, saying, Dad, someone's outside, like ringing our doorbell over and over again. I'm really scared. I'm like waking up like, what? Groggy. I look on my phone camera. I see Billy standing out there dressed in the suit, holding a paper. And I tell my daughter, just come here. Just don't even answer the door right now. It's going to be all right. She's like, Dad, I'm scared. I'm like, I don't know what doing, but don't answer the door right now. Everything's going to be all right.
I can't believe Mark did not answer the door. It could have been an emergency. But his daughter was scared. Mark wasn't scared. His daughter was scared.
We do not go to each other's house at 2:29 a.m. dressed up like that, holding a letter. Unless there was some emergency, like my son was staying the night at their house and something horrible happened. But absolutely not do we cross these types of boundaries. That was strange, weird, and absolutely threatening behavior that terrified my daughter. Not allegedly, factually. Not okay. Factually. I've stayed quiet for a month plus. And you think that I'm sitting here behind the scenes like I'm some wussy underdog. No, I wasn't even going to sink down to the level of this nonsense.
I can't believe you didn't open the door for Billy when he rang your doorbell. Were you so scared of Billy you couldn't? Your daughter, you tell her to go to bed. You have this your friend at your doorstep, and you didn't open the door. You freaking coward! And then my understanding is when your wife comes back from her travels, she goes over to Billy and his wife's house, and you didn't go there either. Your kids were old enough to stay home. You're right around the corner. You didn't go over to talk about it. Instead, you listened to Anton the antagonist and Wesley, the pressure. Oh, the pressure of all these Christian types, by the way. The people who hounded you, antagonized you to get this video out were these Trinitarian, virgin birth, demigod believing Christians. You have no freaking backbone. That's why you're Mark the Meek. Anton, the antagonist, you are loathsome too. You and Mark are something else. With friends like you, who the hell needs enemies? That's for sure. Anton, the antagonist, you, sir, act like you're so damn spiritually enlightened, the new Christian that you are. You who believes the Bible is inherent in every way. Your interpretation of the Bible is inherent. Virgin births, talking snakes. What else do you believe that's so absurd? You too, Wesley. I would love to debate any one of you guys. I'd put you in your place so fast, as Billy would have too, had he known he was in a debate. But first of all, you've got to prove all these dreams and revelations from people who never dreamed the dream in the first place. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. No originals. There's no originals, so it's hearsay evidence of the worst kind. Mary and Joseph, they never wrote anything about their son. Jesus, there's no written words. So you believe Joseph's dream, that our Creator overshadowed Mary, right? You believe that wholeheartedly, and you take all this time, energy, talking about it, and you could never prove it. It goes against the laws of nature. If something goes against the laws of nature and nature's God, we are not obligated to believe it. Again, the very God you use to prove God is in the first place, when you talk about nature, you use this God until you try to get them into these silly, I shouldn't say silly books, because they are ancient. They're my books as well, and they're spiritual too, for me. But you can't take them. You can't take them at face value. They're not inherent like you believe them. Why would you do that? Why would you believe that our Creator has to contend with a evil entity that he created, ultimately created? So ultimately, it's a whole conundrum. Mark, Anton, Wesley, Catholics, Baptists, anybody who believes virgin births, demigods, is just gullible or in it for the money. You're either so damn gullible or in it for the money. And that's a sad state of affairs. I would read Thomas Paine, The Age of Reason. That's for everybody. That's for you too, Billy Carson, even though you can go right to the conclusion. But Thomas Paine can easily compete with any prophet that you praise and worship. Wesley, Anton, and Mark, you nasty individuals who threw Billy under the bus. That's a fact. And so why did I even care about it all? Except that I see stuff going on in the world. I see the Georgia Guidestones is a great example of somebody who just blew them up. These stones that somebody put in, granted they're not perfect. Granted they come from a person, I think we know who it is now, when he talks about 10 million people or something like that. When he talks about 10 million people can only remain. That person, whoever put this on the Georgia Guidestones, missed that there's enough for everybody if we set it up right. This planet Earth has enough for everybody, abundance for all. But you blew it out because of all the stupid stuff you guys think about. You're a dangerous faith, in my opinion. You, the Jew, who thinks they're the only chosen people, the Muslim who thinks you got to go by this Quran and only this Quran. All others who don't believe your interpretation of it, by the way. I'm not saying the Quran's a bad thing, but I'm certainly saying many zealot-type people's interpretation of these ancient texts. These books are very dangerous in the hands of the easily led or the intellectually gullible people who follow these books. And we, spiritual people, have to stand up to these people. It's time to get them out of here. It's time to have a revolution in the system of religion that Thomas Paine talks about in The Age of Reason. It's time. We're late. We're many years late. Again, we're always late. Everybody's waiting for a savior. I think of my friends, the Baha'is. We have Baha'i people who have another savior called Baha'u'llah, right? And in another 1,000 years, we'll have another. Everybody's waiting for somebody to save us, and we have to save ourselves. We have the tools now. We have the tools now to do so much with this awesome technology that came about ultimately because of this amazing force, again, the billions of us rightly honor with the sacred title of God. I know I got to close right now, but I do get aggravated with, again, I don't follow Billy Carson. I follow him on YouTube, but I just met him because of this debate. And I felt the need to comment. And first of all, I did videos. I do my own videos on the subject because every time I post on Anton's or certain things that I post, it's gone when I look at it. Like if you say something, and I've been very respectful, pretty respectful. It's not like I use dirty language. Granted, I may say, Anton, you're a tool and stuff like that. But many people have said worse. But I think mine get deleted because they go and they investigate the videos I've done and they're like, oh God, this guy's a wackadoodle. I am the Christ prophet because the videos that I've done years ago, which I still believe today, they're personal truths, as I've said, that I'm forced to call a faith because I can't prove it. But if it makes sense to you, you can call it a truth and embrace it. I can't prove to you that this force plays a conscious active role in your life. I can't. But I ask you to test the theory with whatever you're working on. I'm an urban farmer trying to usher in an agrarian society in our inner cities where people love to live. And I've been working on it for many years now. And I know I'm going on a tangent. I got 27 minutes. I'm going to go to this will be a 30-minute video. And I teach people how to grow vertically using soil, composted soil, organic so-called waste that we throw away all day long. And I'm there. I'm ready to go commercial with it, okay? And it involves for me, that is the active arm of deist reality. It's one thing to talk about God. Oh, I believe in God. Oh, go study the Bible, study everything word for word, like these Christians want you to do. Guys like Wesley. I know I got to finish this up, but guys like Wesley, he wants you to study the Bible as much as you can, learn as much, so when you go out to preach it, you can have every answer to all these people who question the book as you understand it. That's what they hope to do with this Canadian apologetics, apologizing for the absurdity of virgin births and demigods and talking snakes in Garden of Eden, as they desecrate the sacred feminine in the whole thought of it all, right? Get this. You got Eve in the garden. She eats from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's a conundrum, folks. God tells Adam not to eat from it, right? And so Eve eats from it. But God could have told Adam and Eve not to eat from this tree of the knowledge of good and evil all day long. But until they eat from it, they don't know good from evil. It's a silly conundrum. And if we think about it logically, it's absurd the way Wesley, Huff, Anton, and Mark, and all the other absurd Catholics, Baptists, evangelical types, all you people are warped, and we can stand up to you. Put you in your place quickly. Nicely, because, you have a right to believe it as you want to believe it. But when you go out into the world and impose it on the world like you do, you, Wesley, Huff, Billy Carson, an apology. Mark, you had a good friend in Billy. You lost it. And you're going to feel the ramifications of that. And you, Anton, the antagonist, you are going to be a lonely individual. You can't be trusted. Obviously, you're not a trustworthy individual. Or if any spiritual people hears me say that, you are untrustable. They will agree with you. And that's how you'll lose. That's how you're going to go down. You'll blame it on, oh, I left. Anytime you embrace Christianity, I'm going to do more videos on this too. But your thing is, just because I left the spiritual world, the demonics, they're pushing me down, they're pushing me under. No, you did it yourself. You're an idiot. You really are. And you're a conniving idiot. And you Christian people who are embracing Anton, go to his videos and see what he did to all these spiritual people who gave him a helping hand, who ultimately gave him a helping hand. Nasty individual. Conniving. It just seems to me. I don't even know the guy. I just see his videos. You watch, if you follow him as much as I did, and again, I followed him way too much time dealing with these folks or trying to figure them out. Why? Why do they do what they do? Why did they throw Billy under the bus like that, like they did? Billy, a conversation that turned into a bait, and Wesley Huff, all your freaking fame, it's not going to last, no doubt, because you're all doing this because you know the church pews are emptying out. Why are they emptying out? Because people are getting information at the click of a button. And we're learning to discern for ourselves what is true and what is not true. First time in history. In my day, you had to go to the library where you only had a few books. Now we have a lot of passionate people who talk to us. And stuff they say is clicking true. And this last thought on the subject, I ask everybody to, again, look at Thomas Paine, study this global hero, and study his words written. They're all written down. We know Thomas Paine wrote them down because we have his signed signature, unlike the Bible and all the different stories and poems and songs and legends. It's hearsay evidence of the worst kind. And if you're going to try to talk about stuff that goes against the laws of nature and nature's God, you'll never have the proof to prove that, okay? And that's why you can go on Clubhouse and everybody's bickering back and forth about stupid stuff, missing out on this very real life that we're living, that we've been blessed to be a part of, that we've been anointed to be a part of. And for you, Billy Carson, I wish you'd sue these guys. I wish you'd sue Anton, the antagonist especially. But Mark deserves to be sued. He should have never posted that video. You asked him not to, as a friend. You asked him not to. But of course, he had something to gain. There's money involved here, no doubt, somewhere, in my opinion. Can't prove that. But Mark lost a good friend in you, Billy Carson. Anton was never your friend. But, right, Mark got you to work for him, did your social media. All you spiritual people who have Anton, as you know from his videos, that he's not trustworthy. He doesn't like you anyway. Aaron, what's Aaron's last name? Aaron, that last debate they did. Look at the way he edited it. He always edits it to throw spiritual type people under the bus. In a world where people believe less and less that there's a force that plays an active role in our lives, the possibility is very real. Again, it's personal truth. I can't prove, but I believe it wholeheartedly, and it helps me get through life. And if there's something real after this very real life is over, let's say this spirit of mine, this consciousness of existence of mine has the potential to go to another realm, God's not going to judge us on if we believe some person's interpretation of ancient linguistics like truth. He's going to judge us. He's going to judge, no gender there. He's going to judge us on how we took care of his creation, in my opinion. All right? And you atheists and agnostics, read that definition of Thomas Paine's, because it includes you too. You just got to, I know it's hard to put down that word God, and we'll talk about that in another video too. It's hard to put down the word God because of all the nasty baggage that's associated with it. But you're included. It doesn't matter if you believe you're a deist or not. In my opinion, all people are deists who believe in a deity or believe that we come from something. And every conscious, rational mind believes we come from something with a capital S. I guess I'm going to close there. It's long enough, Mark. This is Mark from Deist Reality, over and out. We will, most certainly, heal this planet, one pure deist at a time.